Hello and welcome to this short presentation on centralised investment propositions, and over the next few slides we're going to have a look at the FCA's guidance around these issues and also what you can do to enhance the governance and control that you have. Okay, on some of these slides there's quite a bit of information, so you may need to take the opportunity to pause the slide if you wish to read some of the content. But in April 2012, the FCA produced some guidance on centralised investment propositions, recognising that they were a valued proposition to have within a business, but also stating the fact that they are not a reason for your client to be undertaking any investment decisions. The guidance came after a thematic review that they did where they identified a number of concerns, and over the next few slides we're going to have a look at what those concerns were. So out of 181 investment files that they reviewed from 17 firms where a KIP proposition was recommended, they identified that 33 cases were unsuitable, 103 cases were unclear, and overall they assessed the quality of disclosure to be unacceptable in 108 cases. Now these are quite high percentages, so it's very high on the FCA's agenda to make sure that the centralised investment proposition is used effectively and compliantly. And over the next few slides we'll see how engaging with an effective cash management proposition within the centralised investment proposition can clearly improve the value and benefits to both the firm, the client and the advisor. Okay, so these are some of the key findings, and the top one is actually one of the main concerns that the FCA have across the whole spectrum of advice that they found yet again within the use of centralised investment propositions. But it's really important that no matter what kind of advice we're giving, that we provide a suitable comparison of the costs, both pre and post, to any type of business, but particularly with investment business, and also that we collate adequate information. Okay, so here are some of their other findings, and it's fair to say that there were examples of good practice where the centralised investment proposition is being used and effectively and to the beneficial value of the client. But there were also examples where it was used as an automatic investment solution, so there's no client segmentation, there's no identification of the client's requirements, and there's no matching of those requirements to the beneficial value of the centralised investment proposition. They also identified that some advisors weren't competent, and that financial gains were made when the centralised investment proposition was introduced. And this is where we have the inherent conflict of interest first mentioned, because it's not managed and therefore you're creating clear risks to the clients. And risk is something that we all clearly wish to avoid. So here's the summary again, that out of 181 files, 108 were assessed to have poor quality disclosure and therefore to be unacceptable, and 33 cases were unsuitable. And the summary from all of this is that financial advisors should consider the suitability of all products, shouldn't just be driven to providing a solution which satisfies their requirements for payment or some other sort of financial reward. And this is what a typical centralised investment proposition might look like. It'll have a range of investment opportunities from the very secure all the way up to the more speculative for the more sophisticated client. It should cover a spectrum of investment needs and should be able to identify the requirements of each individual client and fit them somewhere into the spectrum of the investment proposition. Okay, so we've seen a typical example of a centralised investment proposition there, but there's still one issue that this proposition has, and that in fact most investment propositions have, is that they continue to force people to invest. The main asset class that's missing from these propositions is actually the effective management of cash. So how can an individual ever know that they are making the right decision if they do not fully understand the value of their cash deposits, and therefore as a result of that are financial advisors taking on additional risk that they really don't need to have within their business? So this is actually how a centralised investment proposition should look. It should include the effective management in cash within the portfolio, because the majority of clients, prior to making an investment decision, normally start from a cash foundation, and also after making an investment proposition or decision will still remain with cash on deposit. If the proposition included the management of that cash, then in actual fact the balance of risk that the client holds, and therefore the balance of risk that the advisor and the firm holds, would be dramatically reduced and mitigated. So let's now quickly just have a look at a few questions which might be going through your mind if you were to engage with an effective cash management proposition within your centralised investment proposition. And the first thing is this likely to affect a client's investment decisions? Well, the short answer is yes. If a client fully understands their relationship with cash, it will certainly affect the investment decisions that they make. And this shows the significance and the importance for including it within any investment proposition that a client may have. Because if things do go wrong, then the advisor will be held responsible because he hasn't actually undertaken a full analysis of the client's financial situation. The bottom line is that an effective cash management proposition generally encourages greater disclosure from the client, so you are dealing with the full amount of the client's assets rather than that portion of the assets that the client's prepared to maybe risk on an investment decision. And if they're doing that, and when a client fully understands the short-term nature of cash, the reality is you are more likely to get a greater proportion of the money to be engaged within an investment proposition, but now it's for the right reasons. And if the investment or the stock market eventually goes against the client, then they are reassured by the fact that the cash they have on deposit is managed more effectively. So will the advisor suffer negative financial consequences? No. In the main, the financial advisor will actually experience an improvement or an increase in their financial returns if they help their clients to fully engage within their effective cash management proposition. So I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. It's obviously taking a different view and shining a different light on the centralised investment proposition, but more importantly it's mitigating the concerns that the FCA have over a lot of centralised investment propositions are used and the direction in which they drive their client. So if you'd like more information, please contact us on any of the methods shown below and we'd be more than happy to help. So thank you very much for listening and we look forward to hearing from you.